Nick was already outside, leaning on the horn. She lingered at the doorway, car keys dangling from her hand, lips shining with gloss, eyes carefully avoiding mine. "Come on," she said in a breezy tone, as if she were about to introduce me to a casual acquaintance from yoga class, not the man she'd been secretly sleeping with. My grip tightened around the coffee mug. "If he sets foot near this house," I said in a calm, measured voice, "I'll break his jaw. And if you walk out with him now, you'll carry that regret for the rest of your life." She blinked twice before letting out a laugh, not because it was funny, but because she was stunned that I had finally spoken those words aloud. Then, without hesitation, she opened the door. I first met Elise 7 years ago, during a crisp autumn afternoon. She wore a mustard yellow coat and carried a smile untouched by sorrow. I was the steady one, the man she said grounded her, her anchor, the person who made her feel safe without demanding proof of her worth. 3 years later, we married. I bought a small house tucked into a quiet street. I painted the porch with my own hands. Every Sunday, she would hum old tunes while tending to the garden. That, I believed, was love. That was happiness. But then things began to shift. Late-night gym sessions. Phones that stayed face down even while buzzing. Her laughter at jokes I hadn't told. One evening, her phone lit up on the couch. I reached for it, but she snatched it away so quickly it nearly slipped from her hands. "Privacy matters, babe," she whispered. "Sure," I said, though the word felt heavy in my mouth. Not long after, a new scent clung to her clothes, not mine. A bold, musky cologne that lingered on her coat like a dare. I kept silent and began watching instead. The truth revealed itself when she left her laptop open, just once. Her Google Maps history told me everything. A hotel by the river, visited twice in 1 month. The dates aligned perfectly with the nights she claimed to be at work dinners. Her lies weren't clumsy. They were rehearsed, seamless. That was what hurt the most. Not just the betrayal, but the undeniable joy she seemed to find with him. Sleep escaped me. I didn't shout, cry, or break things. I simply remembered who I was, the man she once leaned on as if I were her home. I wasn't fire. I was the tide, quiet, steady, inevitable. And the tide always pulls things back. So I hired someone, not to spy, but to collect proof. Screenshots, texts, GPS logs, photographs. She hadn't even bothered to use an alias at the hotel. I quietly opened a separate account and began moving money piece by piece. She never noticed. I also ensured the house deed was in order. It had always been in my name, secured long before we married. She'd once laughed off the prenup, barely glancing at it before signing. And then I waited. That morning, she painted her lips red. Elise only wore red when she wanted to feel powerful. Without a word, she started toward the door. I stayed silent until her hand touched the doorknob. "If he comes here," I repeated firmly, "I'll break his jaw. And if you walk out with him, you'll regret it forever." Her smile faltered for the briefest moment, but then she left. From the window, I watched her climb into his car. She didn't look back. 10 minutes later, I made my calls. My lawyer filed for divorce, attaching every shred of evidence, messages, photos, hotel receipts. Those same receipts went directly to her company's HR department. Nick, as it turned out, wasn't just her affair, he was her supervisor. And the company had a strict zero-tolerance policy for workplace relationships. Within 2 days, both were suspended. I changed the locks, packed her belongings neatly, and arranged for a courier to deliver them to her sister's place. When she came back that Sunday, drained and smudged with mascara, she found a note taped to the front door. "You wagered your future on Nick. Go ahead, see what it's worth." She called. She texted. She left voicemails insisting it meant nothing, that Nick had panicked and disappeared. I ignored every word. 3 weeks later, we crossed paths again, at court. She looked diminished, as if life had begun pressing her down. Her lawyer requested the house, spousal support. My attorney handed over the prenup, alongside the evidence, photos, timestamps, her company's code of conduct. The judge didn't even pause. She got nothing. As I left, she followed me to the elevator. "Was any of it real?" she whispered. I looked at her, really looked, for the first time in years. "You tell me," I said. "You're the one who walked away." The elevator doors shut, and I didn't turn back. Some people gamble everything on a lie, believing there won't be consequences. Elise only realized the cost once it was too late. You only get one man willing to take a bullet for you. After that, all you're left with are shadows of what might have been.